And there we go. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Nordic Sound channel. It's been a minute. I've just been non-stop out and about all month, and then as of a couple days ago, I am finally home from Midgardsblot, my favorite time of the year. Because as you all know, Midgardsblot 2022 was kind of where this channel took off, and for that I'm eternally grateful for all of you. I really cannot imagine what I would do as a creative outlet or as like an intellectual outlet if not do work on this channel. So for all of you who have helped get this channel where it is, you have my eternal gratitude, and I really appreciate each and every one of you, as does Cricket, who's currently pecking the wall. So my opinion on the fest this year right out the gate, it's somehow better than last year, and this is just my personal opinion, but I was really curious how they were going to top last year. Last year came right off the heels of COVID. We all spent a couple of years in varying levels of isolation, quarantine, lacking that person-to-person communal aspect of being human that we all just so dearly missed during the pandemic. And to go to this beautiful place and have that cathartic moment through both Vardruna and Heilung was really important for a lot of people. And so I was curious, how are they going to top last year, because they were just set up for so much success and so much potential for a festival that honestly changed people, myself included. And I'm just gonna say, I think that the way that they topped last year is the fact that they didn't try and do last year over again. They made a hard pivot from that crunchy pagan Viking hippie type thing that I'm very clearly of the clan of, into this hard pivot into just like, this is a metal festival. And I really admire and just, I'm kind of in awe of the fact that they made that decision and they did it well and with confidence. There was no trepidation of, well, maybe we could do this middle thing where we have both metal and then the crunchy stuff's like, no, it's like, no, this year is My Dying Bride, Tyr, Kampfar, Nordjävel. It's just like, I just think that's what works, okay? But then on top of that, there was something else in that I'm just assuming, because I didn't talk to the organizers about this subject specifically, but Midgardsblot is this community of misfits that are all misfits for their own reasons, right? Your black metal misfits are not outcasts for the same reason that your crunchy doing shrooms around a drum circle around a bonfire misfits, right? Different reasons why we all come to this place for a little escape from the mundane nature of day-to-day life. And so this festival attracts both crowds, and I'm always really curious how they're going to appease both, because that's not an easy task. And the way that they did it, at least from my point of view, was just genius. Sorry, Cricket started screaming at me because I forgot to leave the door of his cage open. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to starve you out, buddy. I'm glad you think I'm that clever. He's still mad at me. Whether this was intentional or not, I will never know, but this is what I saw as a spectator and as just a lover of the festival. The rock and metal was primarily on the Valhalla stages, the Valhalla and the Kaupanger stages. And those are the main outdoor stages, open air, with the big grassy areas for big crowds. For the people who want the Folketbord for Nordvinden, the Nena Barslev, the Nibala, the Astral Side, the Runehild, we were given, for the most part, the Gildehallen, which, for those of you who aren't familiar, is the reconstructed longhouse in this Viking village that the festival takes place at. And so I thought that that was just a really clever and meaningful way to give the people who were there for that more intimate drum circle, communal music making type music to have their own space in a space between both stages. It was sort of like you make the deliberate decision to walk into that space and to participate in that kind of music. And I think that that made those types of concerts all the more powerful for those of us who do look for that sort of musical experience. But then, if you're not into that, you don't have to go into the Gildehallen. You can just hang out outside and drink and just have a good time and wait between all the metal bands and all the other open air bands. Probably rambling on about this at this point, but I did really just want to highlight that I thought that that was a really cool and meaningful way to utilize the festival space in a way that gives both the hardcore metalheads and the people who come for Katarina Baruch, Folketbord for Nordvinden, to have their own spaces without being like hardcore divided. One comment I do want to make is that I heard people say, oh, because the crowd's in Gildehallen, maybe they should do an extra ticket. I would not like that personally, okay? Tickets on tickets on tickets they just complicate things. People don't know where they're allowed to go if they don't have the right ticket, and you just don't want to have that. You don't want to create that sort of anxiety in the festival goers of like, where am I allowed to be? And on top of that, I think that leaving the Gildehallen as an open space that didn't require its own ticket, yes, I understand the crowds were really rough for the Nabala show specifically. I had to leave because I felt like I was just another sardine in a tin of sardines. But I think that problem regulated itself. The people who wanted to go just for a few minutes could go, check it out, have a good time, and then leave if it got too crowded. And it just created this natural ebb and flow of people going in, coming out, that sort of thing that I do think a ticket system would have ruined. And you know, I don't want to speak for the musicians in Gildehallen who played there, but I would be surprised if they would be down for like an exclusive ticket for that show. I just don't think that they would be into that either from the musician side of things. But anyway, moving on to just like general thoughts of the festival. I really love that my boys in Clan Argantia were invited in an official capacity. Last year, as far as I know, they just showed up and just started making music around the bonfire, and that very quickly became a very cathartic, meaningful, spiritual moment for the Midgardsblot community, was to have this very special band play around the bonfire all night. And I could just tell, you guys know how much I loved them last year, and I hung out with them a fair bit finally this year, which was awesome. I think that it did make the bonfire a lot more special. I noticed that the bonfire was a lot more crowded this year, and I noticed there were a lot of people who were talking about, oh, I came here for the bonfire. I saw videos, I saw this and this. And that will always be a very special component of the Midgardsblot Festival. And I just wanted to give my thanks to whoever's involved with the festival who might watch this. Thank you for inviting those wonderful, charming Italians to be there in an official capacity. I think it meant a lot to a lot of people, and I hope maybe they can play Gildehallen next year. They've earned it. They're very stellar musicians, and I would lose my mind. And then just in general, the bands that were actually a part of like the stage lineup in the Gildehallen program, I'm just so happy to tell you guys there was not a single dud in the lineup, okay? These bands, even the ones that people were like, yeah, they belong here, which, you know, I'm never into that. Like, give every musician a chance, no matter the setting. And we learned firsthand at Midgardsblot through Mio, Gangar, Isak, Katarina Baruch, Steve Von Till. Even though it's a metal festival, give these musicians who you wouldn't expect to be there a chance, and you will see the unifying power of music. That music is not meant to be defined by genre. We use it for the sake of discussion and making it easy to pick out what we like. But music is music, man, and it like speaks to you regardless of genre. And this is what I love about the way Runa does the booking, is just she knows that too. And I think it makes it all the more poignant when bands like Mio and Isak and Mari Boina play at a festival like Midgardsblot and can still move people the way they did. I don't think there was a dry eye in the festival when Mari Boina played. And anyway, I just wanted to say that in general, the musicians this time around, I'm not saying there were duds last year, but it was more notable to me this year just how much the musicians gave it their all for their sets this year. And it was just like one after another, awesome set after awesome set. And so just, yeah, my closing thoughts on the music, it was just killer. And somehow this festival keeps getting better every year, and I don't know how. It's like witchcraft. And then on top of that, just a general note on the community. I've been to my fair share of metal festivals and metal concerts. There is no community like the Midgardsblot community. You know, the big thing for a lot of people about Midgardsblot is the fact that it's one of the only places we can go to find a significant community of people who are like us. I know that there are some people in the Denver area that I am friends with who are like us, but, you know, there's strength in numbers, right? And there's something very powerful about going to such a large gathering of people like you, and not only are you going to a large gathering of people like you, you're going to a large gathering of people who also aren't like you, but there's still that whole thing, we are here to just have a good time. And I love that you're here, and you love that I'm here. And there's just this openness, this beautiful openness to the community that is just so lacking in many of our day-to-day lives, that makes Midgardsblot such a special, I'm getting a little emotional, it's just such a special moment for so many people. People treat you and accept you as you are. And that was really on display this year. Which brings me to the thing that I do feel obligated to say something about. Not only because people have asked me to say something about it, but just because it's kind of like the elephant in the room. The Black Braid situation. Go watch Boris T's video on it, okay? I think that a lot of us are in agreement that he sort of gave the best account of it. Not perfect, okay? Because, again, I wasn't there. I'm not going to say someone's account of something was perfect if I wasn't there to know what perfect is. But it seems the general consensus is that Boris T's video, which I will link wherever YouTube allows me to link it, he said everything I would say. And not only did he sort of say everything I would say, he said it with the same attitude I would say it with, and that is this. Everyone involved is human, okay? Everyone involved in this situation is human. And that means that we are beautifully imperfect. And I mean that. We are beautifully imperfect. I think that the best approach to the Black Braid situation, and this is as someone who was so excited to see Black Braid there, and they did still put on a killer show. No one can take that from Black Braid, okay? Their show was one of the most memorable and talked about shows of the whole festival. And then this shit went down, and then I do think the reason people were so hurt by it is the fact that we loved them. We loved having them here. We love their music, okay? Black metal is no stranger to having to, like, question, I like the music, but the behavior of the person, like, come on, guys, that defines our music culture of black metal, okay? So Black Braid is no exception in that degree, but yes, their behavior on social media especially was kind of gross, and I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan. It rubbed me the wrong way, but at the same time, can I say that I have never acted gross on social media? No. When I was a teenager and I had just this platform to put my thoughts out and just broadcast it, if I was eternally judged for stupid shit I said on social media, like, dude, I wouldn't even have a platform right now, okay? I do think that while Black Braid made a mistake, while Black Braid messed up, at the same time, I do see the best I try to see the best in people, and I do believe that everyone involved can grow and learn from this situation to become better people, okay? That will happen in time. The situation is still pretty heated right now, but I'm still gonna go see them open for Wolves in the Throne Room in Denver, because I know that still, no matter what, their music is great, and I love it, and I will never say, oh no, I never liked their music because now I don't like the way they behaved at Midgardsblot. Like, no, I still love their records. You know, it was an unfortunate situation, and I will stand by the fact that the reason it hurt so many people so much is because of what I was just talking about. This festival is such a special place for people, and we really do try our best to just be accepting of all types of people who come to this festival. We've put so much effort into making this an open place for people to come and not feel... Everyone will always be judged everywhere they go because it's the human condition. But you guys know what I mean, right? When we try to create this open community where you can come no matter what your background is. And the fact that the Black Braid situation happened the way it did, I think just hurt people and is what got emotions so high in the first place. So anyway, that is my piece I will say on Black Braid, especially because I was one of the people who, when they were announced, I was the one sounding their horn the most, so I just feel obligated to say something about it in that way. But long story short, do not damn people to an eternity of judgment for a mistake they make. We can always grow and we can always be better people, and I think that that's one of the more beautiful parts of being human. But anyway, that's all I have to say on the situation. Remember the human, remember that none of us are perfect, and I do believe that all of us can learn and become better from the mistakes that we make. So with that, I think I'll just wrap up this video with just like my closing thoughts, impressions, reflections on Midgardsblot. It is one of the most beautiful experiences one can have in their lives to attend this festival. And I will die on that hill. I'll die on that mound, to be thematic. if you've never gone, please go. And if you go every year, please continue to go every year, because you are part of what makes this festival such a magical moment for people, especially those people who just have this little hole in their lives. And the beautiful moment that is Midgardsblot fills that void, if even for just a brief, fleeting 5 days. It's just such a special place, and I'm honored that the musicians and the organizers and everyone have accepted me into Midgardsblot in the way that you all have. I've just never really experienced that level of acceptance in my whole life. And that's why it's just like so special to me, and I'm really looking forward to, I've promised her this, bringing Alyssa next year. A lot of you were asking where Alyssa was, and airfare was a little out of control this year, but next year I've made a promise to her, even if I have to not go for her to go, I need her to experience that. But then most importantly, a lot of you were asking where's Cricket. I can't bring Cricket to Midgardsblot. I know a lot of you were being more funny, right? Weren't so serious. A lot of you were like, no, you could do this, you do this. I'm not bringing Cricket to Midgardsblot, okay? He's a fragile little parakeet. I love him. He needs a full night's sleep, okay? Or else he will get cranky and bitey. Trust me, yeah, I'm talking about you. He's like glaring at me from across the room. I love that so many of you told me how much you loved Cricket and how much you wished he was there. So many of you wanted me to say hi. I have told him all of the very nice things you guys have said about him. But unfortunately, Cricket will probably never go to Midgardsblot, and I'm so sorry to burst that bubble. But he's got this apartment to watch. He's got to keep this place locked down. Don't you, buddy? So anyway, thank you guys for listening to my rambling thoughts on the festival. I've got a lot of interviews that are as a result of it too. Made a lot of really cool connections with the musicians. So in a lot of ways, Midgardsblot has worked for me too, even though it doesn't feel that way. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the future of this channel, especially after this year's Midgardsblot. I think things are going to be pretty good around here, alright? So, thank you guys for watching, and I am so looking forward to seeing you all again next year, new faces and old. And as always, you know where to find me. Please leave a comment on what you thought about the festival, what your favorite part, your favorite band, and I guess I will see you all around. Take care.